Today I'll be giving a presentation on biodiversity's effect on emergent disease. Biodiversity is a culmination of relationships between various plants, animals, fungi, and microorganisms. Species richness is simply the number of species in a region. And how are these different? Biodiversity takes into account the relationship a species has to others within a community, while species richness is simply the number of species. For example, 10 different species of mice would appear to be just as species rich as a region with 3 mammal species, 3 plant species, 3 different types of birds, and a reptile, all in the same region. It gives an incomplete picture to simply look at species richness. The relationships that species have with one another are not always positive relationships. The different relationship types include parasitic, where one organism is benefiting while the other organism is negatively affected; mutualistic, where both organisms are benefiting; or commensalist, where one organism is benefiting while the other organism is unaffected. Zoonosis is another term to know. It is defined as any disease or infection that is naturally transmissible from vertebrate animals to humans. The number one host of Lyme disease is the Midwestern tick. Over a 2-year life cycle, ticks across the Midwest will take blood meals from hundreds of different species of hosts. Further in the tick's life, it will target white-tailed deer, specifically for their final blood meal. In the juvenile stage of the tick's life, it targets a high variation of hosts. To reduce the occurrence of Lyme disease in juvenile ticks, there is benefit to increasing the biodiversity of hosts available to a tick, as it reduces the chance that the host to a tick is capable of being infected by Lyme disease. This in turn will reduce the chance of infection from this tick for any subsequent host in the future. In the adult stage of the tick's life, it targets white-tailed deer and will breed on white-tailed deer. Tick populations may also be reduced by any increase in biodiversity and a decrease in white-tailed deer species richness, as ticks require a white-tailed deer for their final mating ritual. Depriving ticks of this host can deplete tick populations, which will lower the probability of transmission of Lyme disease, as there are now fewer ticks who are able to transmit it. There are many species of animals that have a natural immunity to various diseases, like the possum. Keeping ecosystems diverse with animals like this prevents further transmittance of disease. Biodiversity loss correlates to increased pathogen transmission and disease incidence. This has been a recorded occurrence across various ecosystems. In the United States, it has been seen that populations of birds with low diversity had a much greater chance of community spread of West Nile virus compared to populations of birds where there was high diversity. No definitive reason has been proven for why this is occurring. However, it is seen evidently that biodiversity has a positive impact on preventing community outbreaks. Similar results to this have also been seen with hantavirus, which is a highly zoonotic virus. Creating biodiversity in agriculture and farming. For crops, planting genetically diverse rice reduces the transmission of viruses by over 3-fold. The rice used was all the same species, simply diverse within that species, giving innate immunity to different types of fungi. This practice has given an equivalent yield of rice when crop did not experience pathogens. When a pathogen is present in crops, much of the yield needs to be disposed to prevent this disease from affecting human populations. Because of this, planting diverse rice only shows a positive or neutral effect on the yield each year. It should be noted that not all hosts are created equal. If a population is diverse, it will be much more difficult for a pathogen to find a suitable host. This leads to less pathogens within the ecosystem, which prevents the suitable host from infection. By preventing infection, we are also preventing the possibility of a virus mutating or spreading from that host, even when viruses are zoonotic. Thank you for watching my presentation on biodiversity's effect on emergent diseases. Here are my references. Thank you.